Good afternoon. I believe it's 12 here. I'm actually going to have some time to try to do a couple videos today and tomorrow, perhaps in between what I'm doing. And thank you for all my new subscribers. Sometimes I may not have my makeup on, I may not have my bed made, but that's really my prerogative, right? And just to let some people know, because they keep saying I don't have a job, I have like 2 to 3 jobs, 2 main jobs, 3 usually. I substitute teach, I tutor, and I do wine and beauty and liquor and beer promos. So get your facts straight. I wanted to touch base on some things I have talked about before, some things that are being circulated and talked about on YouTube. They have been for a while, and some people seem to think that people are coming up with these things. I mean, some things people are coming up with, don't get me wrong, but some things people are reading and realizing and putting 2 and 2 together. It's good if you at least give people credit. But anyways, I am talking about Chris Watts and the Mistress, the elephant in the room. I kind of combined 2 things together just because they kind of go together. I had talked before about Chris Watts and the refrigerator temperature theories, and I kind of want to hit on that. I do have notes this time, so please bear with me. A few theories, 2 of mine, and also of a few other people's comments and channels, but I've always kind of thought this, and I've had that video up for a while, and I've even wrote comments about this prior. But the pick of the temperature of chicken for grilling, where they had chicken and carrots, the Mistress says they had that on July 4th. Chris says they had that on August 12th. And they say they were at each other's house, vice versa, and they lie or whatever. Well, we all know that they went to each other's house, apartment, whatever. We know that now. You can't trust liars and manipulative thieves and murderers anyways, but we know this for a fact. I'm wondering, and I've said this before, I wonder if he did not grill that chicken for him and his mistress because he had already fed Bella and Cece and they were in bed because the neighbor did not see them. Or were they dead? We don't really know for sure. Yes, Chris has had a prison interview and said that they were killed at the job site, but I will touch more on that because I don't really believe that either. And if that did happen, I believe it was only Bella that was still alive or came to. As I said, you need to check out my other videos. I'm trying to stay pretty organized, but I have touched base on this before. So my 2 theories are, well, there's a couple theories. Either they did have the chicken and carrots on August 12th, and they don't want to implicate that because that's the night of the murders or before. Or they had them both times because one time's July 4th, which would be 4th of July, so they kind of had it because they were celebrating 4th of July together, and then they had it August 12th as well. Because chicken is a good protein. It's something good for you to eat if you're watching your weight, worrying about your intake, which in one of the police interviews, interrogations or whatever, the Mistress does talk about going over to his house and downloading an app about food and such. And if you've read the documents and read up on this case a lot, they also used to talk about what they were eating or going to eat a lot in text messages to each other. So food was a big thing for them. Was it a code? Because they used a lot of pictures. Who would take a picture of the temperature in the refrigerator or a picture of the chicken on the grill? Was that to show that it was done? The girls were killed? Or it's time to come over? Or, as I have read about Pizzagate, I'm not real sure about it, but I'm sure some of you are, chicken meat can mean different things. So I'm thinking that it's more on the line with them about working out and their body in that app. I do, however, believe it was a picture to the Mistress, because why? Why take a picture of all that? Now, to take a picture of the refrigerator could have been because of that, because you want to keep chicken at a certain temperature because of salmonella? Or was it a picture of the refrigerator because Chris was going to keep, or did keep, the girls in that refrigerator to basically prolong the decomposition in the bodies, the rigor mortis? That would explain a lot. That's a ponder, a theory. And I wonder who that was sent to, that picture of the chicken on Chris's phone. Who did he send that to? We know it was on his phone. We have the file image, but unless I'm wrong, I don't know who he sent that to. I mean, it's convenient. I'm kind of like a little bit all over the place with these notes. But it's convenient that the mistress tells the detectives that her SIM card is broke. Last that I have looked up, SIM cards are pretty durable. They're hard to break. I think she purposely broke them because she does not want to be implicated as an accomplice. It would show her being there. It would show who the pictures were sent to. Which we know that the pictures of the flowers at the grave, at the site where Shanann was put at, it wasn't exact work site, but it was in that general area because NK liked flowers. That's why he supposedly sent it to her. We know that was sent to her because that's in the documents. I still think that was a message as well. Looking up volcanoes, looking up lyrics to songs, it's all kind of subliminal codes, messages. And I think a couple of them are to significate, that's the wrong word, to basically say the job's done. Sorry, I'm still a little tired. Things have been, it's been rough. And once the things were rough with me, I've been pretty much watching this case and involved in this case since it happened. So let's go back and make sure I read everything about that. Okay, also there was a couple of freezers and refrigerators in the basement. They were big enough to put a child's body. And there was beer in the basement. There was a sleep mask left in the basement, which is questionable if that was even Shanann's, which probably wouldn't be, because why would Shanann's sleep mask be down in the basement where her husband's supposed to be staying because they're arguing, but it was really to let the mistress in easily. I will always believe that's how she came in. She came in from the back. She came in from the basement. She was probably even hiding. The dogs hit on the basement, and there's a lot of action clues, and that's where a lot of it happened, I believe. Also, their room, perhaps, unless Shanann was led down to the basement by Chris, and she was attacked by both of them. So many things really left undone about this, right? And then, during one of the police interviews with NK, the mistress, she was asked by detectives, why do you think CW, Christopher Watts, would kill his children? Why was her reply, maybe Bella saw CW kill her mom? Why would she just say Bella? Yes, I know Bella's a little older, but they both walked. They both could have got out of bed. Why just basically single it out to Bella? And also, this statement was before Chris's prison interview. So how does she know this? Was she there? She had to have been. She had to have talked to him about it. How else does she know this? This is before his prison interview. This is before a lot of things were leaked to the media, or even speculations, really. So we talked about the SIM card. They're supposed to be durable. I think that was durable. That was conveniently broken. Seems on purpose. Bella might have witnessed the murders and had to go and had to be killed. And Cece probably was already dead. I still kind of believe the girls were killed there, or maybe Bella came too. I know that there's that video of shadows. But what if the mistress was crouching down handing Chris stuff because they knew the cameras were there and then she wanted to be out of sight? It's just too many things left undone. And Shanann would not have fit in the truck the way he stated. There was not enough room. There was not enough back seat room for the girls to sit without car seats for 45 minutes, not buckled in, not seat belted, not saying anything to their mother, calm and sleeping as he said. No. Why would Chris risk the girls being in the driveway and work site? The neighbor goes to the gym. She didn't see them. The girls could have ran. They could have ran to the neighbors. They could have started screaming at the job site. Isn't there someone he checks into? So they just drive to their job site and there's no one checking them in so they can come and go at any time? Because if that's the case, as I've said, which I doubt it is, but I'm sure they had easier access because they worked there, him and the mistress, they had to have dug that grave prior for Shanann because she was left on the side in the dirt, which was by the oil tanks, and I believe that he was going to come back and blow up the oil tanks, which in turn went into where Shanann was. Which they weren't thinking very well because they still would have been able to have known that they were placed there. But then again, when you're on whatever all they were on and the way they were thinking and their mentality, they weren't thinking, obviously. I mean, they could have gotten by with this, I believe, if the plane wasn't late and Shanann's friend, Nicole Atkinson, which is a great friend of mine, would have, from Facebook, after the tragedy, mind you. But, and no, I don't talk to her or ask her about any of this. I do my own investigations and I read up and come to my conclusions. And yes, I do have a bachelor's in applied science. I have 3 degrees. I'm not stupid. I just was raised on a farm and I have corrected my speaking, but I'm Southern and I do have a tendency with my accent because of being raised around, I guess you would call them rednecks at the time. So I'm just throwing that out there because I don't feel like hearing people's crap. We're all different. Okay. The girls fell asleep in the truck. No, I do not believe that. He is supplying us with this story because it's a narcissistic supply. It's for him to get compassion from everyone in society. He's trying to say he's religious, hence to get more compassion to show that he's a good guy. It's just narcissistic behavior. Really questionable is the 111-minute phone call that him and the mistress had that they do not conveniently remember what they talked about that very Sunday night. They spoke actually up until Shanann's original flight time, which leads me into another mistress theory. She made the call to him and heard the TV loud. She knew he had no TV in the basement because she had been down there. She knew the TV was in the living room, or also the TV that was in the bedroom, which symbolized to her that he was in the marital bed. He was waiting for Shanann. Could be another theory. Don't think I'm saying that Chris is innocent, but she could have, the mistress, left her phone laying at her house. Anybody could do that because everyone knows the phones pick you up where you are now. They ping. So the best way would be to, what? Leave it behind. Leave it at your house on, like you were still on the phone. No, what are you talking about? I was there. That's my alibi. So she leaves the phone laying and drives over there. She was off the edge in anger because he even said she could switch and get bipolar angry easy. Basically, he said that in so many words in his prison interview. And then she killed his wife and babies, and that is why Chris says to his father, she was not supposed to be there. Why did he say that? Did he say that because she pushed him into it, or she did it, or they both did it? Why would he say that? So many questions. In her interview, she states they have a nice setup, but she had only been into the living room. It was obvious she'd been to way more than the living room. And the canines bark in the basement. I believe the basement holds a lot of clues, and a lot of things happened in the basement. That's why the person came back in September and the lights were on in the garage and the basement. They were coming back for something. Talked about that. I want to know why there's not any justice or answers to this. A lot of people believe that she was involved. If you don't, scroll along, don't subscribe, go to another channel that's talking about her innocence, which there's not going to be very many of them. I know Shanann was pregnant and buried in a shallow grave after being strangled. We know that. And we know Bella and Cece were found in the oil tanks. But we still don't know why and how, and it's still a mystery. And a lot of things are not as they appear in this case. Will we ever know? Are they going to be arresting her soon? I really hope so, because I believe that Nicole did this. Freedom of speech. A lot of people do believe this. And I believe that she either knew about it or definitely was involved in it. I still believe she was involved in it. They were living the bachelor life and partying it up to the very last minute, perhaps to the very last breath of Shanann and her babies. God bless Shanann and her babies, Cece, Bella, and Nico. I think I said that right. They need to have justice. Please like and subscribe. Comment below. And have a nice day. And remember, life is short. Don't take anything for granted.